Hi guys, welcome to another video and welcome to Steetley Pier near Hartlepool in North East England. And what a beautiful looking location it is. It's a crispy morning, but yeah, I think we could get some nice interesting shots here. This location has actually been on my to-do list for a while, but there's been a few problems. I've needed the right conditions for sunrise, but I've also needed the tide to be right. So at the moment the tide's actually coming in, which is okay, because what I'm hoping is we can get the pier with water lapping around it, but you get a distinct end of the pier, which is why I really like the idea of this shot. I think I'll set up and demonstrate exactly what I mean. Now, setting up today, I'm actually using the GFX 50S. I've also got a couple of new things that I'm going to be trying out with it, which I'll talk you through just in a wee little while, but I'm very conscious that the sun's about to rise, the tide's getting higher, it's time for me to crack on and get some photos, I think. I love this tripod, but the only problem is if I extend it to full height, I can't see through it. I'll take my torch off, I think. Now, if you're wondering why I've stopped here instead of just marching straight down onto the beach, well, it's because I'm very conscious that I've got lovely pristine sand at the moment, and as soon as I walk over there, I won't have lovely pristine sand. So ultimately, I like to work further back than work in getting my composition, and vice versa, just so I don't ruin this lovely sand. And talking of sand, I'm also being conscious that I don't want to put my bag down on the floor if I can avoid it. It's been a while since I've had this camera out, not for any reason apart from the fact that it was Christmas. So the lens, first of all, is one of the things I'm trying out, and that is the little 35-70 compact zoom lens. I've picked it up second hand and it got it for quite a good price. As you can see, it opens up and then we have a 35-70mm lens, which I thought I needed one sort of autofocus lens for it, as much as I do like the manual experience. It is 2026 after all. Now you will notice, in fact I'll spin it around so you can see, I've got a lens cap that says A on it. I spin it round, I've got a lens cap that says B on it. Yeah, I'm not sure why it says A and B. I'm no doubt there is a reason for it. But this is a magnetic system sent to me by the nice people at Freewell. So I will be transparent at this point and let you know that I am trying out a new magnetic filter system, and it has been sent to me free of charge by Freewell, and I do get to keep it at the end. They haven't exactly asked me to review it as such, they've just asked me to make something with it. So we're going to make something with it and see how we find it. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, that's the magnetic cap, and I really don't know why it says A or B of it. I'll be honest, I actually wish that lens cap said nothing at all on there. I wish they were just black. I don't particularly like the branding, and I can see myself colouring that in. Anyway, I'll stop complaining so early in the day, and I'll set about setting this shot up. The problem I can see I'm going to have with this shot is the lack of clouds. Zero clouds. It makes it quite boring, to put it blunt. Okay, I'm going for a simple X-Pan panoramic just to the pier. I haven't got any of this part of the pier on, so where there's the stretch that went over, I presume it was a broken stretch, but it may not be. It may have actually been never built. But anyway, I haven't got that in. What I've actually got is I've got the remaining part to the right hand side, a simple panoramic. I'm going to have to move my positioning slightly just to get a nicer lead in. It's not really an ideal shot, to be honest, but I quite like the sort of calm, tranquil tones in the sky, so I'm going to take it. It's a good starter, and then I think what I'm probably going to do is try and get a little bit nearer and hopefully fill the frame a bit more with a pier and keep my fingers crossed for some sunrise. But yeah, I'm just going to reposition myself and get this shot in the bag, I think. It's amazing what difference it can make by just moving a few steps to the side. Yeah, that is actually nicer. As you can see, I'm having my problem of seeing for the viewfinder. Yeah, I've now got a nice bit of separation. If I'm being honest, it just needs some water around it more, and that's what I'm hoping we'll get at the peak light. But yeah, this is still a nice shot. I'm getting 2.5 seconds F10. I think that's absolutely fine. 2 seconds self timer. Here's the first shot of the morning. Now, I'm just going to get the filter set out. Very wary about leaving my bag on the floor, because I think all of a sudden this tide's going to come in and I don't have a wet bag. Having a wet bag's not ideal, is it? So the nice people at Freewell sent me this variable ND grad with a built-in polarizer filter. Now, I'm a bit skeptical, to be honest, because I've never had much success with variable NDs in the past, and I've never had one with a circular polarizing filter fitted into it. So I think one immediate disadvantage I can think of is the fact that this would, if I'm using this just as a polarizer, it is going to be blocking out 3 stops of light. Now, this variable ND does 3 to 7 stops, so the minimum I can do is 3 stops. So I'm just going to drop it on like so. It's got a little grub screw. Right, so using the little grub screw, what you do is, first of all, you set the polarization. It's always finding a happy medium with polarizers, really. You don't want it too extreme. I'm going to try that, which straight away is now giving me a 4-second exposure at F13. But as I say, what it has got, it's got a built-in neutral density, so it's blocking 3 stops of light out already. And I can change that from 3 stops to 7 stops, which I suppose is quite a nice little idea. Right, so it's a waiting game, really. The light's gorgeous now. I just need the water to be a bit higher, which is a bit frustrating. I'm going to put the shot up on the screen I've literally just took, because I think it is a nice shot. But I just want the water around it. I really want that sort of milky water effect around the bottom of the pier. If anything, I want this pier to appear like it's out at sea, not actually on a beach, if that makes sense. So I suppose I want to become a bit more of an abstract. But yeah, there's worse places to stand around on the beach. I've been warmer, but you know, it's gorgeous, the sun's up. I just need the water to be up. The light's not as nice as it was earlier, so I think what I'm going to actually do is I'm pretty much resigning myself to the fact that this will become a black and white image, which I think will be nice. So I'm going to take off this filter set. And swap it for a nice, it's hard to do at an angle, just a normal B&W 10 times. Just to try and get a nice longer exposure, to be honest. I think it just won't be quite right. So, drop the... Oh, it doesn't work, does it? Oh, I don't know. Don't really know what's going on there. As the tide is coming in, I'm not going to start messing around with filters at the moment, so I'll just drop them in my pocket. Yeah, let's see what sort of times I'm getting now. Right. Yeah, the light's definitely changed. We are getting 30 seconds F16. Now that's interesting, because I was only getting 2 seconds before, and that was supposed to be giving me 7 stops. So 2 seconds, 7 stops, 8 seconds before stops. 2 seconds at 7 stops. We may think at 8 stops would be 4 seconds, 9 stops be 8 seconds, and 10 stops would be 16 seconds. So yeah, one of them is not correct. Makes me think that the filter I was using actually isn't a true 7 stops at that point? Or is it just the fact the sun's gone a little bit? I don't know. It's hard to tell, isn't it? But all I do know is I should be getting a really nice long exposure on this, and if the sun comes out and if the water comes in, then we may actually be on. Well, we're on, but the conditions aren't perfect now. Basically, I am going for 40 seconds, f16, ISO 100, 2-second self-timer. But the light's just not anywhere near as nice as it was earlier. So I think my takeaway from this is I need the tide to be higher to coincide with sunrise. What a shame, because I do think with the conditions this could actually be a really, really nice shot. But I don't think this is the shot as such. But it's not a bad shot, it's just not the shot I want. I'll let you guys have a look at it to see what you think. I don't think I'm happy with that shot, to be honest. Future me is going to pause the video there and let's have a look at the expression on my face. There's the face of someone who's not managed his expectations. The problem I had with this shoot is I arrived with this preset idea that I was going to get the pier surrounded by water in gorgeous early morning light with nice fluffy clouds around, perhaps reflected in the water for a dose of good measure. And the reality is that wasn't going to happen. Part of it due to my planning and tide times, that I had that slightly wrong. I thought there'd be more water there. But secondly, simply because there wasn't enough clouds in the sky for it to actually even happen. But let's have a look at the 3 shots I actually took. Now the first shot I actually really liked, but at the time I totally dismissed it. That lovely pre-dawn pink feel about this shot I think really works. And actually it's perhaps my favourite out of the bunch. Now the second shot, okay, there were no clouds, but the light was nice enough. Not enough water, of course, but you know, it's a pleasant enough shot. On a normal day, I'd have probably been quite happy with that. And the final shot, the black and white shot with the water, I ended up actually really liking it. No, it wasn't my favourite at the bunch, but it definitely was the second favourite. So I think this video has become a good lesson in managing your photography expectations. If you arrive at a location and the conditions aren't quite doing what you want, then don't get disheartened and think you're just making do second best. Actually, embrace what you have and work with that. On this shoot, I've managed to produce a couple of images which I really liked, so it definitely was a worthwhile trip. And whilst I didn't get the shot I had pre-visualised in my mind, what I can do is I can return time and time again until I finally get the conditions and everything falls into place. And perhaps that is the whole beauty of landscape photography. Well guys, I am going to end the video there. Didn't really pan out as I liked. I think there were some lessons learned, but what I would say, it's a great location and it's one I will come back to. And I'm kind of happy I did commit to the shot that I first had. I think my timings were wrong. I need clouds, I need the tide to be right, and I need it all to coincide with sunrise. But if I get all of that and I get that first light with nice clouds and the right tide, I think this could be a beautiful shot. So I think any trip out to a location, even if you don't return with the shots you want, I think any trip like this, it's always beneficial because I now know firmly in my head the timings I need to be here and the conditions I want. So I think this is all good. And considering this is only a 40-minute drive from my home and I've never been here before, well, I'm asking myself why. So, yeah, I think I'll be back quite soon before we get into the summer months. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you once again to Freewell for sending me the variable ND with built-in circle polarizing filter. I have not tested it in earnest, to be honest, so I'm not going to give you any comments at the moment about how it works, but it seems to be working quite nice. I'm still just not sure about having a polarizing filter with an ND built in because sometimes I just don't want to have ND, but you know, for the coast, absolutely perfect. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you soon for another one. Thanks again.